Good evening, my friends, and welcome again to your Monday night. Oh, yes, that is a good thing. It is me, the Redneck JT. I'm dragging the Geek Sully along with me because for some reason he's not into this one for some reason. I just don't understand it. Anyway, tonight, episode 5 of Agatha All Along is what we're going to review. So do me a favor. Grab your favorite adult beverage or whatever it is that you want to drink, something to munch on. Sit back in that beanbag chair and enjoy the ride because, trust me, it's going to be really bumpily. Sully, it's all yours.
Oh, well, thank you, sir. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Avenger Pretenders, where we do a full-on breakdown of every single episode pertaining to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yes, including Marvel Television. Marvel Television Studios is what it's called now. Yes, that's right. Marvel Television Studios. Episode 5. Agatha All Along. If you haven't watched the episode, consider this your spoiler alert. Consider it your spoiler alert. Oh, yes, indeed.
We should get one of them things, you know, that spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. Danger.
Well, Danger Marvel Universe. or Danger Avenger Pretender viewers.
Yes.
There you go. Nikaya says, and OMG for this week's episode.
Yes. A very interesting episode, to say the least.
Yes, definitely have to agree.
This one was definitely more along the lines of a horror film.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that because I thought it was great. I like myself a good horror film. It can be wonderful at times.
Yes, it can.
But yes, we
also want to say hi to our good friend Carol from across the northern border. She's with us. And Will just came in and says, hello, my fellow witches.
Hello,
Hola.
sir. How are you? Hope all is going well down in Florida these days for you. Because
yes,
let's
definitely.
face it, they then got screwed up big time.
They got smacked once, started to recover, got smacked again.
Right on their tush.
Oh no, right on the back of the head.
Yep, that was the one before that.
That's true. It was about, okay.
That was the one before that. So anyway, bringing it on down, we're still on the Witch's Road. Only this time, as we're walking down the Witch's Road, we see the episode start off with all of the coven there ready to go and moving on to the next. Or so they thought anyway, because the Salem 7 show up in the form of their animals. That's right, the coyote, the wolf, the owl, the snake.
And I was sitting here going, how did they get to the road? Well, that one actually got answered for me very shortly after I asked that question to myself.
And what was the answer to that?
They left the portal open, you stupid bitches.
Yep. They certainly did. And the portal that they're talking about was the portal from when they brought Rio back, not the portal from the beginning of the Witch's Road where they were in the basement. So they were able to come right on in and start hunting them all down. Well, they decide, we've got to escape them somehow. What on earth are we gonna do? And Teen, without missing a beat, says, what about brooms?
Boy, they went off about that.
The look of horror on his face when they all turned and basically went, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
Right.
No, we're not doing brooms. No. No way. Well, they end up doing brooms anyway because they need to get away. But, and I thought this was interesting. They had to do a ritual.
Yep.
With the sticks from the trees or the roots with a partner.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're the ones that they grabbed were roots of a tree because that was all they could find.
But they had to.
It was like this little ring around the rosy thingy that they did.
Yeah, and then they had to trade. They had to trade the ones that they originally grabbed, and I thought that was interesting because I never thought of something like that when it comes to witches or even warlocks or something along those lines, having to do a spell in order for them to have transportation as like a broom. So in this case, obviously they were using roots. As they're flying through the air, a lot of nods to E.T., especially flying in front of the moon there. I mean, that was clearly a nod to E.T. So,
but it was funny how they all just started to get so relaxed, and Lilia said there, "I haven't done this in centuries," and all this stuff. It's like, so you did fly on broomsticks.
Yeah. Yeah. You just admitted it.
Exactly.
Like, come on, man, let's go and do this. It's going to be fun. We could go fly around and cackle like hyenas.
I had Harry Potter, or flashes to Harry Potter.
Ah, yes, the boy who lived. Yes.
When, because, I mean, obviously, Teen has never flown on a broom.
He was very excited to do so.
I mean, and, when he went and jumped on it and everything, I had visions of Harry Potter with it, doing that kind of thing. So
Yeah,
maybe that was just me, but,
I thought that was an interesting tie-in.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning. But at the same time, they were all very hesitant to get on those brooms. Meanwhile, Agatha's like, well, bye, see ya, we're leaving, hasta la vista.
You think about it, they hadn't been on the brooms in a long friggin' time. Obviously centuries for Lilia.
Yes.
And the only reason that they took off like they did is because Teen got attacked by one of the Salem Seven.
Yes. Yes.
Got knocked on his happy ass.
Oh, he got sent flying. But the good thing is, as they were flying, they noticed that the next trial was right there, and they needed to get there. So
actually,
as they were flying, and I think this happened on purpose, the road pulled them back down.
Yeah, forced them down to where the next, because that's where they landed. It was right in front of the path up to the third trial.
So in a lot of ways, the road is saying, you can't be flying, no cheating. You need to come back down here.
Get your ass down,
back here. And needless to say, they not only got brought back down, but upside down. They got flipped and turned, and they crashed.
Right.
Well, not only do they crash, but the trial itself is in a very familiar form. And I mentioned this to JT off air, but this wasn't just your normal house. No. This was a cabin in the woods or on a lake, because we're in a new decade now, and the trial had to do with the 1980s.
How convenient.
Not just the 1980s, but old school Friday the 13th slasher type cabin where I went, this is gonna be great.
It was definitely, I mean, this took turns that I had no idea would be coming along.
Right.
I mean, it was wild from the word go.
Yes.
On this episode.
Yes. Now, the rules of this trial really had to do with Agatha, which was interesting in and of itself. But the rules of a Ouija board. Yes, they had to use a Ouija board in order to communicate with somebody else. Sandy, oh my dear, she wants to know where the lighter is. I will get it for you. I promise. I will get it for you. You're going to be like, God damn it. Love you, Sandy. Miss you.
Hi, Sandy.
You might want to tune in tomorrow. Maybe I'll show it. Okay? Maybe I'll show it tomorrow. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. Just putting it out there. See? Chime in anytime. Your sister's got the phone number. I can give it to you. Maybe you can get sound bites like, oh, she doesn't go out anymore and she's a homebody. That's because you're a mom of 2. But that's besides the point. That's besides the point. So anyway, we're talking about Agatha all along. So if you haven't seen it yet, what's wrong with you? Number 1. Number 2, we're 5 episodes in. That's right. 5 episodes in. 5. And we're currently at the point where they have to use a Ouija board. Oh, she's going to bed. Good night, Sandy. School in the morning. School in the morning. School in the morning.
We can find the rules.
Yeah, I was about to say, were you able to find the rules?
I'm still looking.
Ouija board rules. Let's see if we can do it that way.
Well, I don't know if they're different for Agatha all along than the normal rules. So I, specifically said.
Well, yes, they were different for Agatha because they had specific rules that they had to abide by.
Right.
Let's see here. Those are the Salem 7. Using the brooms to fly. Witch's Road trial. Yes, that was designed for Agatha, which we knew. But I want the rules.
Right.
The rules of the Ouija board. Let's see here. Nope. Water themed. Yep. And this time they had to abide by these specific rules because if they didn't abide by these specific rules, the things were going to happen. And it was not going to help at all. So I'm trying to find these rules.
I know one of them was that the hands need to touch the board at all times. Oh, wait, no, here it is. Hands need to touch the board at all times. If a hand is removed, a ghost is released.
Yes.
No taunting the ghosts. And that the ritual has to be properly closed by saying goodbye. But there was one other. Don't ask questions about death.
Yes. Which they end up doing anyway.
Yeah.
But the good thing is while Agatha is messing around, because really that's who it was. Agatha was messing around. She basically gets to the point of breaking every single rule. But Teen was very good with ending the session with goodbye.
Right.
So nothing happened out of this one. However,
So we thought.
right. So we thought. At this point in time, because she messed around, they started it again.
Mm.
Only this time, I don't remember if they actually spelled out who. Oh no, they did. So while their hands were on the planchet, I think that's what it's called, right? A planchet.
Mm-hmm.
They it spelled out Evanora Harkness, which just so happens to be Agatha's mother, the same mother who tried to kill Agatha, which we saw in WandaVision. So now we're getting full circle. And that's when Evanora starts possessing Agatha. And not just a regular possession like, hello, I'm going to do stuff. No. We're talking full on the Ring possession.
Well, in this case, it'd be the ceiling possession.
Well, yes, ceiling, floor, stairs, climbing, bending and breaking her body in half, spinning her head around, like you name it. It was
that hurt.
It was and she said that at one point in time too. But they get to the point where she's all over the place, bending her body backward in half and walking with her arms and her legs and doing a whole bunch of different things. And when Evanora exits Agatha's body, she basically threatens and tells everybody else that her coven risked everything to kill Agatha. Why are you helping her?
Well, and the interesting thing was, I want to jump back just a little bit here. When they were in the first one, and they asked it what the spirit wanted.
Yes.
And it spelled out punish.
Punishment. Punish.
Just punish.
Yep.
And
punish.
it's like, okay, punish who? Oh, wait. This is Agatha's quest. So Agatha is the one who's supposed to be punished.
Yes.
How are we supposed to punish Miss Agatha? So now we flash forward to what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
And I loved hang on one second. Rio.
Yes.
I loved Rio's reaction when her mother manifested as a ghost coming down the steps.
Wasn't that cool?
That visual there of her coming down the steps, that was freaking awesome. And Rio's reaction was awesome too, because Rio's like, I hate ghosts.
Yeah. But if you notice, Rio also defended Agatha.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very interesting, especially since Rio wants to kill her to begin with anyway.
Well, and this is where it falls back to our conversation last week about the relationship between these two. There's a lot more going on in this relationship other than she tried to steal her powers, tried to kill her, and she failed, and now she wants to kill her.
Yes.
There's a lot more to it than that. We know that. What we don't know, we suspect that they were a couple and blah, 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 and everything else.
Yes.
So it was very interesting. And, you know, like you said, Wanda's mom.
Nope. Agatha's.
Agatha's mom. Now I got Wanda in my head. Agatha's mom is pissed at the other 5 because they're helping Agatha.
Yes.
You know, I'm trying to kill her. Why are you helping her?
Yeah.
And she says she wants to punish her. And all that needs to happen in order for that to happen is for them to leave Agatha there with her.
Yes.
And that's when Rhea goes, no, you can't have her.
Right.
I'm not leaving her with you.
Yes.
Very, very direct.
And to be honest, there's more of like back history with that. Not just from WandaVision either. There's more to it. Because even Agatha gets to the point where she's like up on the balcony coming down the stairs and she says, "Why do you hate me so much?"
And her mother's reply to that was, you were evil when you came out of the womb. I should have killed you then.
That's a little harsh.
Yeah.
That's
especially when the person that you're saying it to is your one and only child.
Yeah.
But we found out something else in this whole conversation, because there's a whole lot of shit going on at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of backstory that was revealed in this. And the thing that got me, the thing I didn't realize, okay, I was thinking the Salem 7 were a coven, a separate coven, bear with me, that was formed to, during the time of the Salem witch trials and all that, to try and protect their fellow witches and blah, blah, blah. That, kind of like a security kind of thing, maybe?
Yeah.
Way to describe it. But that's not the case at all. I was way off on my thinking on that one.
Really?
And I actually had to rewind it.
Okay.
And listen to it again. Because they're explaining to everybody, and it's mainly Lilia that's doing this. I mean, obviously, she's one of the oldest ones there.
She has the most experience as a witch.
Yes. Yeah. And she reveals in this conversation that when Agatha killed her coven, she spared their children.
Yes.
And now her children have formed a revenge coven.
Yes.
Or a coven of revenge, where their only purpose on this earth
is to kill Agatha.
Yep. Is to kill Agatha.
Punish.
And it was funny. Agatha's reaction to this coming out, and actually this was when the Salem 7 were showing up and getting ready to attack them.
Yes. And they're still
Agatha
outside,
comes running in, grabs her cape, throws it over her shoulders, and she says, what did we learn from this? One, never show mercy.
Yep.
Finish the job.
Yep. Finish the job. Absolutely.
And very, very revealing, quick conversations that were had in this episode. And, the pace of this episode.
It was very fast-paced.
Was amazing.
Very fast-paced.
Very fast. Things were going fast. It did not seem like a 40-some-odd minute episode.
No, it really didn't.
I mean, it felt like a 25-minute, maybe 30-minute at the most.
Yeah, give or take. Give or take.
But it was good.
It was really good. And especially this whole scene where now, after they've already spoken to Evanora, and she's already possessed Agatha twice, thrown her around.
Getting ready to a third time.
Almost a third time. The point of the punishment is to get her coven to turn on Agatha so they can leave, or, Evanora can just kill her and get the job done, which is what they wanted to do.
She wants them to go away and leave Agatha with her so she can take her out.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I know it's kind of like we're summing up here, but really most of the episode was in this cabin. And it happened so fast.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden you're like, whoa, okay, Agatha fucked around. She made jokes. That didn't last very long because now her mother, Evanora, is here. I'm going to kill you. But just as Rio said you can't have her, she goes, you know what? What are you going to do? What are you going to do to her?
Right.
Which, in this case, remains a mystery because we don't know. And as Evanora wanted to go and attack Agatha again.
Yeah, she possessed her for a third, or she tried to possess her for a third time.
Alice decided, I'm going to step up and protect her.
Mm-hmm.
Not only step up and protect her, but she starts to cast a spell on Agatha and Evanora, and Evanora vanishes. She disappears.
Mm-hmm.
But the spell is hitting Agatha, and Agatha is absorbing her power.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at this point in time, we don't know if it's by choice or if she has no control over it because she was bound.
I like how you say at this point in time, because I almost said something, but then I realized what you just said.
Yeah, at this point in time,
yeah,
we don't know if it's one or the other.
And Jennifer and Lilia and Teen and Rio, they're all jumping in there trying to break the spell, trying to separate them.
Yes. And
so
they
that
can't.
Agatha can't, I mean, she's physically draining her of not only her powers, but of her life.
Yeah.
She's taking her life powers too.
And you can see that happening. And again, I say at this time, we don't know if it was I didn't have control because Evanora was possessing Agatha at the time.
Right.
Or if Agatha was doing it on purpose. Now, most of us...
Nikaya says, I blinked and it was over.
It was very quick. Now, most of us, with this point in time, are probably saying, no, Agatha did it on purpose.
Right.
At least I did. It made sense because now she's getting power. Yep. Now she's getting a spell from another witch who's trying to save her life from her dead mother. But the spell works. Evanora disappears and vanishes. She gets pushed from the body and whoop, gone.
Yep.
But again, at this time, she's absorbing Alice's magic.
Yeah. It says here, it's a shocking moment and the rest of the coven scramble to stop her. Yeah. But it was very interesting what finally made her stop. And once again, it's Teen.
Yeah.
Because Teen looks over and just so happens to see the Ouija board.
Yes.
The Ouija board is bouncing around and the planchette is moving around on the board. So he runs over, he puts the board and puts his hands on the board, and it spells out a name, but it spells it out fast.
Yes.
Not fast. I don't know about you, but not fast enough for me to catch what the names were.
Well, I was able to catch it because it just kept repeating the letters over and over again. But you got to remember also, while Teen's doing this, Alice can't break her own spell because Agatha's absorbing everything.
Yep.
And you just see her
that's
body
all going on at the same time.
Yeah, you just see her body start to wither and decay because of it, because she's sucking in all the power. And
all of a sudden, Teen yells out, what?
Nicholas
Scratch.
Yep. Who's Nicholas Scratch?
That would be Agatha's son.
And they all turn and go, uh-oh. Who is Nicholas Scratch? Yes.
And all you hear is Nicholas's disenchanted voice say, stop, Mommy.
Yep. Stop, Mommy. Which was creepy.
Oh God, it was.
That was
And that is
creepy.
what breaks the spell.
Yes.
That was creepy, dude. That was creepy as, and the way they did it.
Oh, it was amazing.
With the ghostly echo and everything in it, and it was like, oh man, I got chills.
Yeah, no,
I got chills when that happened.
It reminded me of Friday the 13th. It reminded me of Poltergeist, like mixed together all in one. Right. Old school 1980s classic horror with a little bit of a twist. However, now that, Nicholas Scratch is communicating, Alice falls to the ground. She's dead. And the coven can do nothing to revive her. Nothing.
And Teen was begging
Jennifer.
Yeah, Jennifer. There's got to be a spell to bring her back. There's not.
There's nothing you can do.
She is beyond repair, basically.
Yep, she did. She did.
But I love what Teen does to this. He goes off.
Oh, yeah. He's like, whoa.
He gets mad.
Just a little.
And every bit of it is directed at Agatha. Now, the thing we do have to say, though, is during this time, their escape passage opens.
Yes.
Or just before he goes off on Agatha, the escape hatch opens. They go out.
Well, she goes out,
Agatha's
too.
Agatha's off by herself.
Yep.
And the Teen comes out and goes over to her and just snaps.
Oh, he just, woo. Oh, boy.
It was crazy, man. I mean, he dug into her hard.
Yes.
Dug into her hard.
Yes. And that's where things get even a little more interesting. Because not only does Teen end it by saying goodbye, because you have to.
Right.
Really, nothing else has confirmed Nicholas's fate aside from her, Agatha, trading in his soul and life for the Darkhold to Mephisto.
Right. Right.
He died. He's dead. He's gone. Okay. From there, while they're out of the trial's over. They passed. They survived, except for Alice. Teen goes out and, without even missing a beat, just rips into her. Not only rips into her, but says, you could have stopped yourself from absorbing Alice's power. Why didn't you do that?
And she tries to make some lame ass excuse about she wasn't controlling it. She wasn't in control and all this.
Yes.
And he just, stop lying.
Yes.
I was like, damn.
Yes. Stop lying. And that's when she says that he isn't willing to kill people for the sake of magical power. Those exact words, the sake of magical power.
Yep.
However, instead of Teen being upset, he gets angry. Even more so because of her admitting that she basically absorbed the powers.
Right.
Which, again, any right-minded soul who's watching it and knows a thing or two about Agatha is like, yeah, no, she did that on purpose.
Well, and we all know there's different stages of pissed off.
Yep.
You know, there's pissed off where you're done. There's pissed off where you are almost out of control. and you're ready. You don't know what to do. You're lost between, do I do this? Do I do, what do I, what do I do? What do I do?
Yep.
And then there's the pissed off that you get when somebody like Agatha, after you just told her to stop lying because you know she was under control and was stealing Alice's power,
Yes.
and you see a change in Miss Agatha's
Demeanor.
attitude.
Demeanor.
That's the word. That's
demeanor.
The word. In her demeanor, in the way that she's acting, in the way that she's holding herself, in the look on her face.
Yes.
And she looks at Teen with an evil grin and simply says, "You're just like your mother."
You forgot, are you sure? You forgot, are you sure?
Well, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that in here. It just says, "You're just like your mother."
True.
But yes, are you sure?
Are you sure?
You're just like your mother.
Which, if you think about it, Rio already confirmed that he was not Nicholas Scratch, Agatha's son.
Yep.
However, this last trial confirmed his true identity. Now, before I reveal what
happens next,
Lady Death has a prediction that how Agatha is going to get all her power back by killing off everyone in her coven. Well, that's what she originally said in episode 1.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said,
did you hear something interesting in the background after she said that?
Yeah.
Not visually, but audio wise.
Yes.
And what was that?
Well, aside from the music, because the music did give a little bit of a hint from a previous show that we've already covered.
And what show was that?
What show was that? You mean WandaVision?
Why would the music from WandaVision theme
well, I mean, I could tell you
suddenly be playing,
but I want to
in
hear
an Agatha All Along episode?
But I could tell you, but I want to hear the words come out of your mouth of what I said a few weeks ago that I knew.
And I'm going to say exactly what I told you before the show, that you got lucky again.
I mean, it's not luck.
So you hear the music, right? The WandaVision music, and Agatha walks away from Teen.
Yes.
And Teen's standing there, and I didn't catch it at first. But all of a sudden, you start seeing
it's
blue spark.
Yes. Look, his fingers sparkle.
off of Teen's hands, exactly. Well,
glow.
Jen and
Lady Death
Lilia.
said glow.
Jen and Lilia grab Agatha,
yes,
and they look like they're gonna drag her off. And it took me a minute to realize that Teen actually controlled Jen and Lilia.
Yes.
Because they grab Agatha, they walk to the side of the witch's road, and they throw out the garbage.
Yep. They certainly do.
They freaking toss Agatha into basically a witch's version of the La Brea tar pits.
Yeah.
Which, if you flash back to episode 2, Mrs. Hart had a little bit of a encounter with. But for some strange reason, nobody helped Agatha this time. Nobody helped Agatha to get out.
Well, I don't think they were able to. One, because they were under Teen's control.
Right, but I don't think they would have wanted to anyway.
But just remember, after they threw her in and she went down, he sent the other 2 in also.
Yep, he sent them flying to the other side of the Witch's Road to land in the Witch's version of the La Brea tar pits. And I love the look on Jen's face.
Oh my God, it was great.
Just before they had moments of pure artistic acting in this episode. Some of the best I've ever seen. The look on her face, the millisecond before she went under, of pure terror.
Yes.
Was just amazing.
Yes.
And poof, she was gone.
Yes.
And then the part of the show happened where I said, oh, fuck.
Sully was right again. Don't you hate that?
They flash back to Teen.
Yep.
And this is maybe a 5-second scene.
Oh, yes, it's very quick.
But they flash back to Teen. He's still got the magic coming out of his hand. But suddenly, he is wearing a headband.
Yes. Not just any headband.
Just any headband. And I wasn't positive, but I sat there and said, holy fuck, that looks like Wanda's headband.
Bingo!
And there's only one way that he could have that.
Yes.
If he is her child. Or, let me rephrase that. If he is her children.
He is. I can tell you that right now.
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's the only way they could have that headband is if they were with her.
Yes. So here's what happened in the comics. Okay. And by the way, this is the end of the episode. It ends.
And you're correct, Nikaya. It wasn't red. It was blue. That was the only difference. Well, it wasn't red like Wanda's was. It was blue.
So just remember, we don't know what color it actually is. Okay. Because 1, it's dark. 2, they're on the road. 3, he's got magical powers. And all it really shows is the reflection of the blue off of it. We don't know.
I couldn't tell if it was a reflection or if it was actually.
Yeah, no, there's you don't see enough of it to actually see, how much it is.
To be for sure. I got you.
In the comics, okay? In the comics, Billy and Tommy Maximoff, Billy is known as Wiccan. That's his superhero name. That's what he goes by. Well, he was reincarnated after Mephisto absorbed his original self. So Billy Maximoff gets absorbed by Mephisto and then is reborn as Billy Kaplan. Okay. In the comics, Agatha is responsible for Billy's death. Then she wipes Wanda's memories to move on. Okay, which is why he's back as Billy Kaplan. However, in this case, we kind of know Agatha's already responsible because Wanda had to drop the whole facade and free Westview of what she originally had done, creating this whole different universe. And in this case, if you think about it, Agatha is pissed that she was reunited with him instead of her own son.
Instead of Nicholas.
Which is going to make her even more angry. And not only that, I have a feeling Mephisto is pulling the strings.
Right.
Okay. I have a... It's not set in stone. There's only, what, 4 episodes left?
Yes.
Because there's 2 coming out the day before Halloween, and those are the last 2. So, my biggest thing is, when are we going to see him? If we're going to see him, I don't think we will. We've only heard him mentioned. But just from that last scene alone, it does look like that the crown is blue, which would match Billy. It would. It would match his powers. You know, he's a superhero known as Wiccan. He was a young Avenger at one point in time. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Now, we also have to mention, we don't see Rio.
True.
Rio
Very
is
true.
off.
We don't even know if Rio has left
Right.
the trial.
We don't know
room.
if she left the house yet.
Right.
We just know something's going on. Now, just to give you a heads up, Wiccan has the ability to use energy blasts just like Wanda. He can manipulate the elements. He can use energy to construct things. He's got telepathy, telekinesis, and mind control, which we just saw. We just saw in this. Okay. He does wear a headpiece in the comics similar to Wanda's. For him, though, it's more silver to kind of tie with, you know, his uncle. Okay. So it's a little different than Wanda's.
Right.
Are we going to see some more action with it? Most likely. But the fact that his powers are now coming to fruition, I think we're going to see some interesting things happen.
Right.
Some interesting things. Okay. Let's see here. A couple of Easter eggs. Let's see. MCU, ET. Oh, let's see. There really weren't a lot of Easter eggs aside from stuff in the cabin itself, like background 1980s horror films. Their outfits were the same, so you know it worked. All in all, it's your turn to do the rating first, right?
Yes.
So what do you give this week's episode?
Well, first I have a question.
Bring it on.
It's from reading this, but it brought up something very interesting. You made the comment that we don't see Rio at the end of this episode. We've seen everybody else but Rio.
Yes.
Rio made the comment about I hate ghosts.
Yes.
Do we know Rio's true identity? Because the person that wrote this article, and I'll see if I can find a name here in a minute, is speculating that Rio could be Death.
Part
of the reason being her comment about I hate ghosts, half alive, half dead. I could understand Death not really liking that. He makes some interesting points that go along with it. He says he's been suspicious of Rio from the start.
Well, yes, she was suspicious of Rio. But
well, the person that wrote this article has been suspicious about Rio since the start.
Yeah.
But anyway, a little interesting little theory there that, you know, Rio might have more to play with this than we thought. But anyway,
so
um,
you
go
got
ahead.
to remember that she is a green witch, okay?
Yes.
And
yes. Well, she's representing as a green witch.
Well, yes, because she's a green witch. That's
Eric Kane is the person that wrote this article.
okay. So when it comes to the green witch, Rio is not an original comic character. The Green Witch, however, is. So, and this is just my thoughts. They took the Green Witch from the comics, made a brand new character specifically for Agatha all along. That had ties
and it
to
works.
Agatha. And it works. It does it. And they've done it before. They've done stuff where they've created their own characters and brought them in, and you know, now they're a part of the comics. Hell,
it's characters by necessity.
yes, but think of it this way: things that have happened in the MCU are now in the comics. So, for example, Hawkeye's outfit. He doesn't wear a mask anymore. He wears glasses, just like he did in Avengers. You know, the suits are becoming more practical instead of superhuman, you know? So you got a lot of leeway with this. Okay?
Right.
In all honesty, I think that she's just a combination of different characters all mixed into one.
Yeah.
To be that green.
I thought it was an interesting theory. You know, it's definitely something outside of what we would normally see.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, and that kind of thing. So, and you know, I mean, this is the Witch's Road. This is also a series and a show that is completely off the MCU scale.
Yes.
Just like Wanda was. So, you know, they're breaking down walls constantly, both with Wanda and with this.
Yep.
So it's been really, really interesting. So for my rating, like I said at the beginning of the show, or during the show here, this episode moved like freaking lightning. It felt like a 25-30 minute episode, not a 40-something minute episode.
Yeah, very quick.
It was moving from the start. But it wasn't just movement for movement, which happens a lot of times. This was movement with purpose.
Yeah.
And with revealing a shitload of information that we've all been wondering about.
Truth.
I've wondered from the beginning, who is the Salem 7?
And now you know.
It's the 7 kids of the Coven members that she killed.
Yep.
No wonder they want her dead.
I mean,
makes sense to me.
You know, eventually.
Makes sense to me.
It was bound to
Some
happen.
of the special effects that they had in this episode. Agatha getting possessed by her mother.
Yes, that was
Agatha,
very real.
her mother getting knocked out of her body. Her coming down the stairs and manifesting as a ghost. If you don't stop, I'm going to kick you out.
Yeah, move, cat.
Her coming down the stairs and manifesting as a ghost was friggin' amazing.
Oh, you gotta call Ghostbusters.
One of the best ghost reveals I have ever seen.
Yes.
Beautiful. Teen. Just everything that happened with Teen.
Yes.
You watch him from the very first episode all the way through up to now. And I've been sitting here, honestly, since episode 3, I've been sitting here going, something's going on with Teen.
Something ain't right.
There's got to be more of a storyline with Teen than just some kid that wants to be a witch.
Yes.
Gibbs has a line in NCIS that there's no such thing as coincidence.
It's true.
So, there's no coincidence that Teen is here at this time as all of this starts to begin. The tie-in to Agatha or to WandaVision.
Yes.
And 90% of the time when you have these tie-ins, it's short, it's fast. It's not that big of a deal. They made a huge deal out of the tie-in to WandaVision from this.
Oh yeah, hands down. You need it.
Mean, the biggest tie that we've ever seen in my opinion, in anything in the MCU.
Really?
In my opinion.
Okay.
But I can't believe I'm saying this.
Mm-hmm.
I am giving 4.5 witches hats.
Wow.
To this episode.
Wow. You know
That's
what?
how good this episode was.
And you know what?
For me to come out and give, it's hard enough for me to give a 3, but to come out and give a 4.5.
True.
What does that tell you about this episode?
Very true. You ready for
From
this?
an outsider's point of view, it's huge.
You ready for this?
Sure.
We have our first tie.
Of this series.
Yep. 4.5 for me as well.
Nice.
Mostly because of everything that we've already talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And I was right.
Surprised you didn't give it a 5 because of that.
No. Just 4.5.
Real quick. Nakaya gives it 4.
Yes.
She says it was action-packed, definitely kept the story going. Love the broom in the moon scene. And she said questions were answered for sure. It went quick, but you didn't get lost in the speed.
You didn't.
And she was debating between a 4 and a 4.5. So it could have been a 3-way tie.
Almost. And we just need to know what Will thinks.
What specifically, other than you being right, really made you give it a 4 or 5?
The nostalgia of the episode itself. They nailed 80s horror films in this one scene. From the costumes, the Ouija board, the possessions, you name it. They nailed it and upped it. Okay? They really did. In my opinion, because we raved on how awesome the scene was last week in episode 4 when the demon manifested itself up on top of the banister before it flew down and landed on Alice's shoulders. Yep.
While she was playing the piano. And think about how we raged about that scene and how freaking awesome that scene was and how accurate their representations were and how, you couldn't tell that 90% of it was manufactured. This episode blew that scene out of the water.
Oh, hands down.
I mean, this was, for them to top this.
Yeah.
I don't know what it would take.
I mean,
I really don't.
We'll have to see what the next trial shows for sure, because right now we've already done water, fire, and then Agatha's, which was blood. So,
but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yep.
How are we going to continue down the witch's road when the only ones left alive that we know are Teen and Rio?
Nah, the others are alive too.
But we know, the only ones who are still on Earth.
True. On
the witch's road and not under or wherever they went. There's only 2 left.
Yes.
How are you going to continue the witch's road with 2 trials left to go and Teen not even quote unquote being a witch?
Oh, he's a witch, all right.
Yeah.
He's a
definitely
witch,
not
all right.
a familiar.
But that answer will be this Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on Disney Plus. Disney Plus does not sponsor this show. It'd be cool if they did, but they won't.
Guys,
okay.
Look at how freaking excited I am about this show.
Yeah, look, he's pumped.
I'm pumped. These last 2 episodes, man, were freaking amazing.
Woo.
I don't know where they're going to go on Wednesday, but it's going to be interesting to see.
It's going to be a wild ride. That, my friends, is the end of this week's Avenger Pretenders. We will be back next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, to talk about episode 6 of Agatha All Along. And we'll also be back tomorrow for the Sully Show. With my man, JT, as always, our third member, Lady Death. She does very well with the show prep, just saying. And we've got a surprise. Yes, a surprise.
No. Oh, you've got a surprise.
Well, I got a surprise. Wherever I put the box. Oh, it's behind me on the floor. But I will be opening the surprise. It is from Lady Death. And I'll tell the whole story about it tomorrow. That's right. Yep. So, for the redneck, there he is. Can't miss him. He's even missing teeth.
Where?
Somewhere. I don't know. They're probably in the bathroom or something. But I am the Geek Sully. Thank you once again for tuning into Avenger Pretenders. We hope to see you tomorrow for the Sully Show. And, of course, next week for episode 6 of Agatha All Along. Have a great week, everybody. And just remember, Thanos was right. I love ending it with that.